Welcome back. Welcome back. The live stream is open. Yes, indeedy. I have been putting all my energy into the main shows this week, but today I just had to come and talk to you all because it's the blood moon rising. Only not over here if you're in Europe, but we'll be talking about that. We've got a crazy UFO to look at. We've got a Harvard professor talking about alien technology. And we've got one of the weirder ghost stories I have ever seen. So chill out, relax, and I'll be with you real soon. And Rorschach Mad, #1 in the chat today. So who have we got hanging out? We've got Rorschach was first, Jocelyn second, Marky Boy third in the chat. And then we move on to Jose Ramon Francis. And I think we might have a bit of a poem forming in the chat room today. Kev Baker, the man of woo. He warns you of black goo, he brings you tales from ghosts to grails. And the freakiest thing, that are new. In a show by a man called Kev Baker, he says how it is, not a faker. The woo that he'll give us will give us the shivers, and on Friday the tales, they will shake you. And then nothing as it seems says the weather started getting rough. The tiny ship was tossed, and if not for the efforts of the fearless crew, the minnow would be lost. And talking of minnows, I can't think of a better way to describe all 5 foot of me. I'm more than 5 foot, folks. Come on now. Now, as you can see down here in the bottom corner, we have got our new dedicated text for who was first in the chat. It's quite hard to see that. We'll put it over there. There you go. So Rorschach was first in the chat, and from now on, we'll be putting the first in the chat. They'll be getting pride and place on the screen throughout the stream. What's happening with all this rhyming stuff going on? So how you all doing out there? I hope you've all been behaving in my brief hiatus that I took from live streaming. We've had some really big shows this week, and we haven't stopped yet, because tonight we're going to have Mary DeCina and Nacy on the show. So we're going to be getting into the blood moon, the Ooga Booga blood moon. You know, when you've been doing this as long as me, I think I've heard nearly just about everything and then some to do with blood moons. But I tell you what, you can't beat a bit of Mary DeCina added to Nacy. So I think this is going to be a very, very special show today to mark the very, very special supermoon that is in the skies right now, only probably not in the sky over Glasgow. Far too cloudy. And anyway, we don't get treated to the blood moon in Europe today. No, we're going to take a look at that. We'll take a look at the hashtag blood moon photographs that have been coming in from around the world. We'll kick back, we'll chillax, we'll do things the way we do here on the KBS pre-show stream. And I'm hoping that the new graphics don't make people want to go to the toilet. It would have been worse if I'd put on the rain sound, right? That could have been really, really, oof, that could be a dodgy one. But no, hopefully now, if there are any people out there who find themselves toilet affected by the graphics, we'll alter it, okay? We'll get it changed. But we've also got some UFOs to look at today and weird ghost stuff. So I'm going to go back into chat, see who's kicking about in here. We've got Buzzacino, our poet laureate. I think that's what you call it. Is that the name for it? I think so. We've got Sam, Nothing As It Seems, Jocelyn, Jennifer. If your name's in green, big shout out to our members here on the channel. And my bad, Sunday didn't do one, but wasn't feeling the best on Sunday. I'm actually surprised I managed to last the full warrior mode. But We will make it up. We will make it up. We'll talk about that as time goes on today. We've got Gemini Moon, Jose Ramon, Nothing As It Seems, Bet, Jocelyn, Marty, and we've got Lewis, St. Marionette. Scrolling on down, we've got Berean, Jen, Marty again, Shawnee, good to see you. Lewis, again, good to see you. Bet, Marty, good to see you both again. There we go, right, there we go. So we'll get into some of what we've got here today. It's going to be nothing too serious. It's just going to be chillaxing. And of course, we'll be moving on over to the main Kev Baker show of the day over on TFR Live, and you can get that on TFR Live website. You can also get it over on TalkStream Live, and you can get it over on the Paranormal Radio app as well. There are several other ways to listen, but that is what I can think of off the top of my head. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get a quick drink of coffee. Always happens, right? Your throat goes dry just when you're about to go live. I'm telling you. But don't go anywhere. The blood moon is on the way. And just like that, he was back. Yes, indeed. So what's this all crazy blood moon thing all about? Well, it's all caused because of something called a lunar eclipse, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, a lunar eclipse. So let's start there. Okay, for any of you living through your first blood moon, if this is your first year down the rabbit hole, and you're wondering what on earth is all the hype, what's going on here, is it the end of the world? I'm here to tell you that no. I've lived through a few of these. I think when you've been doing this as long as I have, you start to see patterns emerging. And every time there's a blood moon, there's a segment of the conspiratorial industrial complex, the rabbit hole, that goes absolutely berserk for things like blood moons. And you know, it almost like makes me think back to ancient times. Because the people, the powers that should not be, as Naysay calls them, back in the day, the ones that knew about the movement of the planets and the moon and the sun and the stars, they would use that to their advantage, right? Because they would try and scare the bejesus out of people. They would say, give me your first daughter or all of your money or I'm going to turn that moon blood red. And all the peasants and the locals would go, that guy's off his head. He's absolutely mad. Only the next day he would go, look, see? And they would line up, they would hand over their daughters. I mean, nothing much changes. There's nothing new under the sun. Now, I don't think anyone's given up their firstborn to Begley or any of these people. However, you never know. The world's got really, really, really mad this year. All I can tell you is that the Great Deception is underway. I don't know what's right and what's wrong anymore. But I'm pretty confident that this blood moon is a thing. Definitely a thing. So let's go and take a look at this. It says here, according to the annals of Wikipedia, used by geniuses, edited by fools, a lunar eclipse occurs when the moon moves into the Earth's shadow. And this can occur only when the sun, the Earth, and the moon are exactly or very closely aligned. And it calls it in syzygy. Now, with Earth between the other two, and only on the night of a full moon. So the type and length of a lunar eclipse depends on the moon's proximity to either node of its orbit. Nodes. Can't be a bit of nodage. So a totally eclipsed moon is sometimes called
a blood moon.
For its reddish colour, which is caused by Earth completely blocking direct sunlight from reaching the moon. Now, the only light reflected from the lunar surface has been refracted by Earth's atmosphere, and this light appears reddish for the same reason that sunset or sunrise does, and the Rayleigh scattering of bluer light. So unlike a solar eclipse, which can only be viewed from a relatively small area of the world, A lunar eclipse may be viewed from anywhere on the night side of the Earth. And unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, I have to tell you, I've been stuck over here in Europe and in Scotland. I was on the wrong side of the Earth today, as were probably many of you. But it says a total lunar eclipse can last up to nearly 2 hours, while a total solar eclipse lasts only up to a few minutes at any given place because the moon's shadow is smaller. And also, unlike solar eclipses, lunar eclipses are safe to view without any eye protection or special precautions as they are dimmer than the full moon. Now, I have got you covered if you want to take photos of this, even though it's too late. You can get ready for it next time. We've got a thing here telling you about how you take your photograph of this, okay? Well, telling you, I've got you all covered. Here was just one of the headlines that's been doing the rounds. The super blood moon of 2021. How to take a good photograph of May's lunar eclipse with a phone or camera. We're going to come back to that one. See, I went to the wrong story there, see. Super blood moon 2021. The total lunar eclipse will bring a cosmic show across the Pacific on Wednesday. So Hawaii will have the best view of May's full supermoon, followed by California, the Pacific Northwest, New Zealand, and Australia. Yes, indeed. So it says the first total lunar eclipse in more than 2 years. Is it 2 years since we've had some blood moon woo? It doesn't feel that long. My oh my. Think of all the rituals and the hocus pocus that'll be going on tonight. Ooh.
Blood moon.
I'm absolutely loving that soundboard. But anyway, it says this super
blood moon
will be visible on Wednesday across the Pacific, offering the best viewing as well as the western half of North America, the bottom of South America, and Eastern Asia. We got left out. I feel very, very hard done by. Very hard done by. So it says, better look quickly. The total eclipse will last about 15 minutes as Earth passes directly between the moon and the sun. But the entire show will last 5 hours. Now, as Earth's shadow gradually covers the moon, then starts to ebb. The reddish-orange colour is the result of all the sunrises and sunsets in Earth's atmosphere projected onto the surface of the eclipsed moon. I can remember the last time this happened. I'm pretty sure it was late at night. You know, and I was running out the back to get video of this, and it got really, really cloudy. Something reminds me. I think that was 2 years ago, right enough. It says Hawaii has the best seat in the house, and then short of that will be California and the Pacific Northwest, said NASA's Noah Petro, the project scientist for the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter. Now, New Zealand and Australia also will have prime viewing. So, circling the moon for 12 hours, the orbiter will measure temperature changes on the lunar surface during the eclipse. Telescopes atop Hawaii's Mauna Kea will also monitor the moon. The moon will be setting and the sun rising along the US East Coast, leaving sky gazers. And Petro is in Virginia included. He gets to see the amazing show. Good on Petro. Old Petro. Well, stories I could tell you about Petro, but not on air. Pretty much out of luck. Europe, Africa, and Western Asia will miss everything. We don't get to see it. Crap. We wouldn't get to see it in Scotland anyway. I can guarantee you it would cloud over just for that 15 minutes. That's how it rolls here, folks. It says everyone everywhere, though, can still soak in the brighter than usual moon, weather permitting. The moon will be more than 220,000 miles away at its fullest. It's this proximity combined with a full moon that qualifies it as a supermoon, making it appear slightly bigger and more brilliant in the sky. It said last month's supermoon, by contrast, was 96 miles more distant. When you're dealing with 220,000 miles, 96 miles, yeah, it's negligible, right? Give or take 96 miles. Can you really, does it matter at that vast difference? I'm just saying. Um, I know, I'm being very pedantic, you know. So by contrast, 96 miles more distant, unlike a solar eclipse, there is no harm in looking at an eclipsed moon. And this is what got me thinking today, right? This is where we set sail. And listen, I don't know if you've noticed that, but that road, that road there leads to speculation. Speculation ahead. That's the road you take to Speculation Island, folks. That's why we're sitting right here. So we're on the road to Speculation Island, so I'm allowed to speculate. But with all the UFO stuff going on in the news, right? I was thinking to myself today, what a prime time window of opportunity. We have a window of opportunity to do the last card, the last card, the last card. The alien invasion. Why? Why a unique window of opportunity? Because you can imagine on this day, more than any other day, people are probably going to be looking at the moon, whereas most other days of the year they wouldn't. So you've got more and more people looking skyward, right? Right. So right, it didn't happen. It's like Speculation Island. It's past. It didn't happen. But that would be like a really good time to do one of these things, right? If you want to have a mass sighting and really, create a brand new UFO UAP narrative. Oh boy, that would be the time to do it, right? Just saying, just saying. But listen, we're going to take a quick look at what they did used to scare people to death with back in the day. And this was way before people like Begley were doing it, folks. Yes, indeed. Begley's nothing new under the sun. So it says here, the blood moon linked to the apocalypse and the end of the world.
Signaled disaster.
So a blood moon will be coming for certain parts of the world tomorrow. Now, as you can tell, we've kind of time travelled about here. The date of this was yesterday. A phenomenon which has been historically associated with
The end of the world.
Yes, indeed. So if we come down here, it says on me that I haven't got any wiser in my couple of days off. I didn't say I'd got any more intelligent or any more entertaining. I'm just the same old daft Kev. You're probably thinking now, I wish you'd just taken the day off as well, eh? I'm telling you. So on May 26th, all continents bar Africa and Europe, not very inclusive. You know, I think in this world of wokeness, it shouldn't really matter whether you can see the blood moon or not to be able to say that you have. You know, you can just make it up. You can just imagine it. Don't take away my right to imagine that I've seen it. I know it sounds insane, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Yeah, that's my point. So all continents bar Europe and Africa will be treated to a blood moon or
Blood moon.
even though there are natural scientific reasons for the appearance of a blood moon, people in days gone by could not resist the temptation to link the lunar phenomenon to an act of God. As early as 3,000 years ago, the Babylonians kept records of the movements of the moon and were able to calculate when a blood moon was coming. However, in medieval Europe, had to be us guys, right? We're the best at that, ain't we? Using like fear and ooga booga just to get things done. Telling you, man, where'd that all come from? So, however, in medieval Europe, was there a mud flood? I don't know. It was once more considered an act of God. Albert of Aachen, a historian born in the latter 11th century, described how during the First Crusade, early crusaders witnessed a blood moon as they approached Jerusalem, which they took as a sign from God. That'd be kind of profound, eh? I mean, at the time, if you were a crusader, you probably wouldn't appreciate the historical role that you were performing at the time, but you're on a way to holy battle with a bunch of crazy people under the banner of God and doing it for religion and all that stuff, and then the moon turns red. Holy shamoly, that's got to be a pant filler. That's got to be like down on one's knee thinking, holy shamoly. That's all I'm saying, folks. So, Beth Spacey, no relative of Kevin, I don't think. I hope not. A postdoctoral research fellow in medieval history at the University of Queensland, wrote in the conversation, quote, to Albert, a lunar eclipse signalled the destruction of the Crusaders' enemies. Solar eclipses, however, signalled disaster for the Crusaders. Now, according to the Annals of Magdeburg, a solar eclipse in October 1147 sparked panic in Germany as many feared bloodshed was about to be unleashed. However, as with all eclipses, the natural phenomenon passed without God showing their head. Eventually, God showing their head. I like that. I like that. They there? Is that God's pronouns now? I like it. Eventually, the people clocked on that it was a natural phenomenon, with eclipses caused by the movement of celestial bodies. And Ms. Spacey said, while scientific explanations were increasingly available to educated, literate ecclesiastes and some probably aristocratic lay people, it is not clear how these ideas circulated among the broader population because they were all on ancient Twitter. That's what they were doing. Medieval Twitter was spreading fake news. Nothing new under the sun, folks. Mimetic warfare in medieval Europe. It was a thing. In an early 11th century chronicle, Bishop Tietmar of Mersburg advised all Christians that eclipses were not caused by evil incantations or the celestial bodies being eaten, and they were powerless to bring an eclipse to an end by their actions. So was there people running out in the street, chicken feet, trying to chase away the full moon? I don't know. So this has been cited as evidence that some people believed that lunar eclipses were caused by magicians or moon-hungry monsters. Oh, that'd be a cool world to live in, wouldn't it? However, it is important to remember this comes from a source written by an educated churchman who may have exaggerated evidence of superstitious beliefs in order to then condemn them. Nonetheless, the rise of the internet in recent years has brought blood moon apocalypse claims back to light. Oh, hasn't it just, folks? I'm telling you. Will we go and see if Begley has been saying anything about the blood moon? Begley blood moon. I'd be surprised if he hasn't. Oh, 3 weeks ago, super. No, that's not him. Is he? Oh, wow. There he is. Is this what he calls himself now? El Shahadi Ministries? What?
Shalom, Pastor Mark Biltz here.
Shalom! It's an hour, dude. There he is. Is his channel gone? Blood Moon Rising song. Are we ready for a song by the good pastor? Are we? Would we like to have a bit of a song? Seriously? Okay, then we'll do it seriously. Dear Lord, what's going to be coming here?
Are you serious? Are you serious?
Serious,
This is the
Paul.
coming apocalypse. There's a super blood moon doom and Mike from around the world. What? Are you serious?
You could not make this stuff up, folks, eh? Oh, come on now. Come on, get into it.
See a bad moon horizon. I see there's trouble on the way. I see some earthquakes and lightning.
Oh, God, Paul.
I see the bad times today. Well, don't go round tonight. It's bound to take your life. There's a blood moon on the rise.
Holy shamoly. You've got to be kidding me.
I hear hurricanes are blowing. What?
Seriously?
I know the end is coming soon. Yes, he is.
Yes,
Jesus.
he is.
I fear some rivers overflowing. I hear the voice of rage and doom.
Doom.
So don't go round tonight. It's bound to take your life. There's a blood moon on the rise. Yeah.
This
Come
man
on,
should not be. I tell you, he should be on the stage, shouldn't he? Shouldn't he? Beg up, Begley. Beg up. Fair use. The man's a public figure and deserves not even criticism, very positive critique of what is a fine singing voice. Paul, I never knew you had it in you. Seriously, I never knew you had it in you. You can make this stuff up, ladies and gents. You could not make this stuff up. I'll be back in a moment. We'll take a look at what Twitter's got to say about the blood moon. And we got some UFOs. We got some ghosty woo. And then we'll head on over. We'll get Mary, we'll get Nacy, and we're going to make a right night of it over on KBS on TFR Live.
You better be ready. Jesus just may come tonight. Hope you got your things together. Hope you have prepared yourself for dying.
Oh, yeah.
Looks like there's gonna be nasty weather.
Nasty weather.
Jesus could come here tonight.
Too far.
Well, don't go round tonight. It's bound to take your life. There's a blood moon on the rise. Now don't go round tonight. It's bound to take your life. There's a blood moon on the rise. Are you serious?
How dare you?
Excuse me, it's ma'am.
Now, come on, folks. To be fair, that's probably about the best thing Begley's done in years, right? Right? Maybe not. Blood Moon Twitter. Let's see what people are saying. This one here, very, I can't read that. Obviously, it's meant to be it here. Let's see, 1 hour ago. Oh, it's looking very orange, I must admit. Very orange looking moon. Just realised I'm back to front. Well, back to front. There we are. Don't worry about it, folks. It's back to front to me. So yeah, we've got that one there, right? We've seen that one. Well, that's a pretty orange looking one. That's pretty cool what they've done there, right? Nothing to do with the blood moon. Didn't get to see the blood moon, but got something. Yeah. So hopefully, folks, you got to see it where you are. Wouldn't mind watching the blood moon with that one. Just saying. Oh, very dodgy blood moon. Very dodgy blood moon, this one here. For anyone interested, it's not the best to be taking a photo of the blood moon with your camera today. I found out, unless you've got one of these fancy kind of long zoom type cameras, things like that. Then you're jamming one of your Nikon ones, something like that. But the smell phone or the cell phone, the smartphone, nah. As good as the cameras are, folks, as good as the cameras are, they're not quite good enough, as you can see, to get a really good shot of the moon. Yes, indeedy. So anyway, listen, moving on, because I need to pick up the speed now. We're going to take a look at what I thought was an interesting video. I don't know what we're watching here. Really weird. It's something falling into the sea. And I bring it up because obviously on the channel here, we've been talking a lot about UFOs and things. And if you didn't get the chance to check it out, boy, oh boy, what a guest we had last night. Jack Carey from Paranormal Planet. You can find that video over on the Kev Baker Show 1 YouTube channel. The one with all of the subscribers, but hardly anyone watches it. That one there. Yes, you can find the show with him last night. We talked about UFOs and things. And then today I found this. I think this is really interesting. It's worth a look, folks. Check this out, okay? What is that? Now, that could be a stage of a rocket or something like that. Maybe one of Musk's, like, I'm not saying it's Musk's one, right? The one that's coming back down to Earth that doesn't have a ship to catch it, you know? Going pretty slow though, right?
Tak tahu.
We'll put it back. That's a pretty weird one, eh? Could it be some kind of balloon that's coming down? Some kind of weather instrumentation? Some kind of surveillance stuff? A blimp that's exploded?
Tak tahu.
I mean, you know I want to go full alien on you, right? You know I want to go there. But it says here that this is the mysterious moment an anchor-shaped UFO left a trail of smoke in the sky before crashing into the sea in Indonesia. The bizarre footage of the long, black object plunging into the water was filmed at Janggar Beach in East Java, with some people claiming it was a damaged UFO. There's a still of it there. Very weird. Another photograph of it. I mean, is this some kind of trail? Is it? That's pretty weird, right? Another shot when it's just come out the cloud there. Aeronautics expert said it could have been type of balloon and added it was too slow to be falling object from space. Well, that's what it felt like there. It comes after an ex-astronaut weighed in on footage of mysterious UFO sightings released by the Navy. And former International Space Station Commander Chris Hadfield claimed that the unidentified phenomenon are not the work of aliens, adding that if you think they are, you're an idiot. Whoa. Obviously, I've seen countless things in the sky that I don't understand, Hadfield told Canadian broadcaster CBC. But to see something in the sky that you don't understand, then to immediately conclude that it's intelligent life from another solar system is the height of foolishness and lack of logic. In the last 3 years, the Pentagon has taken the unprecedented steps of releasing 3 stunning UFO videos filmed by the US Navy, so he's calling the US Navy liars. Imagine that. Dare we call it disclosure takes another twist, eh? Oh, it's so interesting right now. And then you got Obama, we watched that the other day. So yeah, this is a weird one. I don't know what it is. But definitely a weird one, folks. And you know, you look at the shape of it there. And I don't know if this is anything alien or not. I don't know. But it reminds me of something that is alien. Or potentially alien. And that is, remember the space rock Oumuamua Mua. Remember that one? Oh man, I've done a few shows on that with multiple people. And then there was that Harvard scientist guy. Remember him? Professor Avi Loeb. And he came out and he said, whoa, 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 whoa. Not only is this like our first interstellar visitor that we've watched zipping in and zipping back out of the solar system, but it could well be that this was an intergalactic probe sent by an advanced alien civilization. Well, he's back in the news again. He's back in the news and he's talking about ancient alien tech that we might need to give us that leg up, that jump start, that push into the space age I keep telling you is just around the corner. So it comes over here, it says Harvard professor thinks alien technology is humanity's fast ticket to the future. Quite interesting, right? Especially when all of this talk's happening right now. You know, one way of looking at the whole disclosure thing that's going on, one line of thought or one line of thinking, one narrative I've seen people talking about is whether they could be preparing us to roll out some back engineered technology. You know, some group somewhere in the near future are going to come clean and say, okay, we got a recovered craft and then we've used this technology and now we've got these little tic-tac things that are unmanned, they're fully autonomous, but they can do physics and avionics that we just can't dream about, you know. It's one way of thinking about it. I don't know what's happening with the whole disclosure thing. I think it's fascinating. It's like the kind of thing that we've been talking about for years. We want to see what's there, but at the same time, we know the people showing us have probably got an agenda. That's why it's just best just to not get too invested, but be a very, very keen and passionate observer like me. So it says, if there's one name associated with Oumuamua, the cigar-shaped first known interstellar object detected passing through our solar system, it's Harvard astronomy professor Avi Loeb, who from the day of its discovery hit the news, has prompted the idea that it's not a space rock, but quite possibly an alien-made object, like a light sail that has been propelled through space by photons. Professor Loeb has stuck to his story despite fellow scientists insisting it's just a new kind of comet whose unusual acceleration is due to a natural mechanism we just don't understand yet. And in a recent interview, Loeb came up with a new twist on his theory. He said, Oumuamua could be a technological relic that's billions of years old, and that just as we would study the Mayans or other civilization from Earth's past, we should do the same for whoever or whatever sent Oumuamua through our solar system. Now, it wasn't that long ago I was talking to Professor Brian Keating, and he was talking about when he spoke to Avi Loeb, he interviewed him, and he said, you know, Avi, if I had like the money that Yuri Milner, the Russian billionaire, is throwing into these programs to send miniature spaceships to Alpha Centauri to make contact, right? I would be asking him, since you're friends with him, I'd be asking him to fund a mission to get more information about this. Now, it's too late now. Oumuamua is gone. But it does make you wonder if that was something other than what we were told. Was that truly some kind of probe? Now, go with me. Speculation Island. Remember, it's written on the road behind my head. We're on the road to Speculation Island. What if that was a probe? What if that was some kind of beacon? And what if that was... When did that go through again? When did Oumuamua go through? Well, I'll just check that. Okay, so isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? Now, if I was writing a sci-fi novel, right, I might just start with this Oumuamua. And I might feature somebody playing like Avi Loeb, and I'd be saying, listen, world, this isn't like your typical comet. This is an alien message, right? And do you know when this? Do you know when this flew through our solar system, folks? This is what makes it a really brilliant work of fiction and fact, which I call fiction or faction, whatever way you want to go for it, right? Is that this object flew through our part of space in October 2017, and why does that make me almost aroused when I'm putting this fictional storyline together? Because that means it was only 2 months after that the way the media handled UFOs, the way the Pentagon started releasing information via To the Stars Academy about UFOs really, really picked up, didn't it? You always hear me saying it, well, something changed back in December 2017, but what if it was something changed in October 2017? What if out there at SETI, somebody's sitting there, and then all of a sudden, some clear signal comes through. Some clear signal comes through, and then before you know it, folks, before you know it, we've got Tucker Carlson doing shows with fighter pilots, we've got Elizondo, we've got all these spooks, we've got a report coming out in Congress, we've got Obama, who used to laugh at UFOs and aliens, and now he's saying, whoa, hang on a minute. We took a look at them. Something's changed. Was it Oumuamua? Was it? Did Oumuamua give them a message? Probably not, but it's good woo, right? I'll be back in a moment. Don't go anywhere. It's not that the aliens are coming back, ladies and gentlemen. The biggest secret is they've never been away. Oh. Any more of that and I'll make you listen to Paul Begley singing again. Nobody needs that. Earth, this is Oumuamua calling. Is there anybody home?
Excuse me, it's man.
How dare you?
Come on, man. Generating and jittering of generating and jittering of.
Indeed, lots of jiggering on today's show. Lots of jiggering, and now we'll move on to our last story today. Get a load of this. A Haywards Heath woman calls 999, accusing the neighbour of, quote, sending a ghost to haunt them. Imagine living next door to this one. Oh dear. living next door to Alice. According to Mid-Sussex Inspector Darren Taylor, the caller shared her supernatural concerns at around midnight this morning, May 22nd. A very seriously written article, is it? According to Mid-Sussex Inspector. So Inspector Taylor said, while the woman was reassured by officers about the nature of ghosts, she was given a more serious message about the importance of using 999 for emergencies. Quote, we get all kinds of weird and wonderful calls to 999. But people need to be aware that when you call the emergency number, they are blocking people from getting through or in a real emergency. How dare you take away from this woman's emergency? How dare you, Inspector Darren Taylor? Jeez. It's absolutely key that we allow people that need the police straight away to be able to get through. Well, I would say dealing with an outbreak of unwanted ghosts that have been cast into your house by an evil magician next door who wears a long wavy tunic and's got sleeves like a, well, funnily enough, a wizard's sleeve. I think that there constitutes an emergency, young man. I'm telling you, just because he hasn't ever had to deal with that wizard doesn't mean that she hasn't. So for non-emergency incidents, what, like the ghost hotline? Do you have like a spiritual like task force that you can just dial up? No, his name's Bill Bean. Get a grip of yourself. So it says for non-emergency incidents, the public are advised to call 101 or email. Oh, just email them. You know, you're under attack by Ooga Boogas and they're wanting you to write them a very informative email. Isn't that nice of them? Ah, damn. You don't want to be going getting spooked or haunted down in Sussex, folks. The existence of ghosts, while not scientifically proven, has divided opinion for time immemorial. Well, this writer is absolutely wasted. John Holden, you're absolutely wasted, man. I think you identify as a man. With writing like this, I tend to think you would. Whether individuals have the ability to summon ghosts, ooh, and bend them to their will. Oh, no need to be bending anything. For example, to haunt their neighbours is another source for debate. Yes, tonight's debate on the Kev Baker Show shall be, can one summon ghosts, and B, if you can, is it okay to make them go and spook your neighbours? There you go, folks. There you go. And on that note, I'm going to come into the chat room. I'm going to see what you crazy people in the chat are all about. What's happening in there today? Listen, I had a bit of a laugh, bit of a joke. It's okay. It's okay to be a bit daft. We do that around here. If you're not used to it by now, I can't imagine who you've been watching, because it hasn't been Kev or Dave. You should be used to my craziness, right? So I'm going to scroll up a little bit, not too far. Terry says, I hope you are, Mr. Baker. And if I take that strong fighting fit, I am, Terry. Sam says, all good, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Bet smiles. Lewis, you had a hell of a story I seen in the chat room. Now, this comes from our good friend Lewis, a.k.a. the Comet Man. Get a load of this. No, wrong one. Hang on. That one?
I was a Draco while in Orion, and I was accused of having an explosion during the peace treaty meeting between the Dracos and the civilizations in Orion. I was laughing from that.
You were the explosion? Dude, what were you getting up to? What, can I, do you want to write a chapter in my book? Where does woo like that come from? I love it, man. I love it. I don't know what part to even start on it. Whether you were a Draco, the fact you're an exploding Draco. That definitely beats like a mildly powered Pokemon, wouldn't it? Like an exploding Draco. That's got to be like the ultimate move. I will see your whatever it is, and I will raise you an exploding Draco. Shh, I'm telling you, man, we get them all in here. Lewis, you my friend, the exploding Draco, I'm going to steal that one, man. I love it. I love it. Tell me where you found that out. What else we got happening in here? Good crew on here today. Sam, that makes my day, you saying that. If we can have a good laugh, that's what it's all about for me. Let's see, Sidvich, I like that. What's Sidvich having with jam? He's having toast in bed. Oh, toast in bed? Shh, you can tell you're single. No woman would let you have toast in bed, man. It's like crumbs and stuff like that. Ought to be the single man, eh? What else have we got going on in here? Great show, says Bet. Oh, way too kind. Stop that jiggering and jaggering. Can't beat a bit of jiggering and jaggering, Teddy. Let me tell you. Kev, you should do some. You should roll some before the show. Yes, I should. Even Come On Man should be followed by a How Dare You, says Buzz. Hang on. No. 1-1 in the football, I think. Is it 1-1, Kevin? Oh, European final, Man U. That's why we don't have Wookie in here today. The Wookie will be glued to a TV set right now. Big shout out to the Wookie. The Jihad soundboard. I need to get an Allah Akbar. I need to get that. I'm talking of the doc. Check out the doc. Oh boy, it feels great these days. Every day when I wake up, more and more headlines are reading like the kind of shows me and the doc were doing for the past year. Yeah. You know what else I forgot about, folks? You know what else I forgot about? I'll come back in the chat in a moment, right? But you know what I forgot? And it's not very often I blow my own trumpet, but today I'm going to blow my own bugle. Do we all remember how crazy 2020 was? Remember? Right? And we all said, right, wow. Like with the monoliths, and we often joked, like, didn't have the monoliths on our 2020 bingo card. Storm Area 2051. That kind of, Area 21? Oh boy. What is Area 21? I need to look into that. Remember all that stuff? And then at the time we started to project forward, right? Remember? And we said, what's going to be on our bingo card for 2021? Do you remember what was on my bingo card for 2021? Because somebody in Discord that I was messaging with the other day, they remembered what I had picked for my bingo pick for 2021. But do you remember? That's the question. No, I didn't see that, Bruce. I didn't see that. But do you remember, folks? Do you remember? It was, I'm pretty sure, I'm going to butcher it because I can't remember what I said exactly. You know, with everything that's gone on in 2020, I wouldn't be surprised. And my pick for 2021 would be, drumroll, Disclosure. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Yes, I'm going to do my Alex Jones moment. I told you here. Told you here at the start of the year, folks. Told you here at the start of the year. Sam, they're all somebody's biatch. That's the thing. Don't pay attention to the characters. It's all about the power. Characters are just there to trigger you and draw you back into their game, folks. Don't do it. Don't do it. That voice change got me. Yes, Lewis, that's what you sounded like about 5 seconds before you went full exploding Draco on everyone. Yeah. Yeah. Buzzacino says in the year 2025, what will we be if we're still alive? Wow, dude. 500 years from now? Do we make it that far? I would imagine one path. If I was to look into my tea leaves in a cup of coffee, that would be a really good, neat trick to begin with, right? And it's going to be a really cold cup of coffee now, but it's worth it. Ah, the cold cup of coffee telleth me. One path, we may shed our physical form. I know, it's weird, right? It's weird. But one path might involve a series of evolutionary twists and turns and engineered maneuvers to take us away from these carbon husks that we've called a vehicle for so long, and perhaps one road leads to a silicon future or an uploaded type future. I'm not saying that's what I want or that's what I think is going to happen, but it's one of the probabilities that's out there, right? Right? Because if we've got free will and free will's real, then surely, the future isn't that set in stone, right? Or is free will just an illusion? I would imagine another way in my little thought experiment here, as grim as that sounded, you'd have to go the other way and think there's going to be a future where it's all milk and honey and everyone's harmonious and everything's just the way it should be. We get back in touch with the planet, the energies, the earth around us, That's a little pipe dreamish. Probably not a very high likelihood of that being the outcome. I honestly think 500 years from now, we'll be doing pretty well if we haven't, not wiped ourselves out, in all honesty. That's why people like Musk, or at least that's why he says he wants to get off this rock, right? Because when he looks at it, he thinks, there isn't 500 years left here. So we need to be setting up other colonies right now. I don't know what 5 years in the future looks like. I don't know what 5 months in the future looks like anymore, folks. I really, really don't. Because of the weirdness of the world right now. Who knows what's 5 weeks around the corner? 5 hours can make a big change in some of the stories, some of the things going on right now. Who knows? Who knows? What was it Bill Hicks said? Just enjoy the ride. Just enjoy the ride. And I enjoy sharing little moments of my journey with all of you, and you sharing your moments with me here on the stream, over in Disco, on the main show. And talking of the main show today, let me get the art. Let's see, talking of blood moons, we're going to be going full woo with Mary Decina. And not only just Mary Decina, but Nacy will be with us as well. I hope you can be there. We'll be at tfrlive.com. We'll be over in Disco. We'll be on TalkStream Live. We'll be on the Paranormal Radio app, wherever you are, whenever you are. I hope you're going to be tuned in. You got half an hour. No, in fact, you got 40 minutes until that starts. So I've got to go and get things ready for Anne coming in from work before I do the show. Telling you, man, Mr. Doubtfire's work is very rarely ever done. So, with the really disturbing thought that I'm going to take from today's stream of the fact that our good friend Lewis was once an exploding Draco that was masquerading around the Orion constellation, let me use this opportunity to remind you, if you want to, but you don't have to, if you want to become a member of the channel, just click that big shiny join button down below. If you want to support the channel, we've got the PayPal link in the description, the super chat there. That's the grift links out the way, as my good friend the doc says. Remember, check out Dr. Kevin McCairn. And until 39 minutes time, I'm going to love you, I'm going to leave you, but I'm going to remind you, keep your mind open. Keep looking for the woo, but not to the point where your brain turns to black goo. Ron, thank you very much, brother. Thank you very much. I swear that's some like synthesized didgeridoo stuff going on there, is it not?